Hey YouTube, the YSL trial has ended in dramatic faction, not guilty verdict. That's what they're saying. I haven't watched it yet. I don't even know how I feel. Ah. Look at Judge Whitaker's face. Like, shout out to Judge Whitaker for running a she did it fair and square. She called it straight up the middle as she said it. Seems like it. They got a not guilty verdict back, and everyone is celebrating. I'm late on the horn, but hey, we are all just as invested, and shout out to the state of Georgia. What's next? Let's get into it, y'all. I pray I'm on the right at the right time. It's your girl Duchess. I'm so excited for them. Not guilty verdict. Let's watch this together. And while I have you, where is Haley Payton? Click on the link the link to the video and the background of her story is in the comment section, also on my page. She is missing out in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we need to be speaking about her. So if you have a moment, give it a listen and raise your voice. Where is Haley Payton? Her sister is desperately looking for answers. Anyway, back to the YSL trial. Let's check it out. Muting the mic.
Terrell Dark, is he here?
Yes.
Okay. Dark, Judge. Okay.
All right, so the Rule 22 was filed mere minutes ago, which is why I didn't have any notice of it.
She forwarded me something that was sent last week.
Okay. Well, what I am looking at, actually says that they would like to record proceedings that commence tomorrow. So and that's from Atlanta News First. That's the only one that has been forwarded to me, is requesting something starting tomorrow, which obviously would not cover today. And
Yeah. Well, this on the record.
It was forwarded to our public information office at 10:16. So there does not appear to have been any kind of Rule 22 even filed at the time this proceeding started at 9:30. That, regardless, you can tape under the circumstances that you and I already discussed. Just make sure not to show the defendants because they're not dressed out in civilian garb, if you will. All right. Thank you. All right, we now have our court reporter. And so before we were officially on the record with the court reporter, I had let everybody know about the verdict that it had been returned in the trial that was ongoing until a few minutes ago in Mr. Kendrick and Mr. Stillwell's case. And it may be that new offers will be forthcoming to some or all of you. It may not be. I don't know. That is not for me to decide. That is for the state to decide. And the charges against some of you are very serious. Some of you are charged with murders. Some of you are charged with other very serious felonies. Some of you are just charged with RICO or gang counts. Those are serious as well. I don't know if the state is going to regroup and take a new tack. I have no idea. I would imagine they'll be talking. And I'm just wondering if it might be a good idea to set maybe a new date for a final plea again. I know y'all had a final plea once in front of a senior judge. It wasn't the judge that was going to preside over the trials. I'm happy to do that, but I kind of am going to need to know sort of how each of these cases is going to progress, if there are going to be charges dropped or null pros, if the state is going to move forward with everything. And if there isn't resolution, then we are going to need to sort out a trial calendar, the time needed to try the case, whether there are any outstanding motions that need to be handled prior to a trial. And then if it's going to be a trial, any motions in limine, and at some point get proposed jury questionnaires and things like that. And it may be that it's a little too early, given the latest developments, for the state to be able to have any answers for that. I see that Mr. Body has been abandoned at council table and is sitting there all by himself, having been dragged into the case fairly late in the game, much like me.
He's quite capable, Judge.
But Mr. Abadi, do you know the answer to any of the questions on how the state might intend to proceed?
I think some of your assumptions are probably correct. I think a new date in the future, the near future, would be the most beneficial for all parties to make sure that we're all on the same page. And if there are going to be any new updated offers, we can get those a little time to get those to council.
All right, so let's look at a calendar.
Judge,
Yes,
quick on behalf of
sure.
we were very close to a resolution today that was essentially a time-served offer. Mr. Humphrey's been in custody for 18 months. We have asked for a slight modification to that offer. I would really like, if possible, because I will go into legislative session too.
Sure.
It's the holidays, and if he is this close to a time-served offer, I would like some consideration to perhaps get his offer done today. If the state feels like they can do it. I know Adrienne is gone. She's left Mr. Body here, but I have been texting with her. We're very close to her.
Okay, and that's fine with me, and I'm here all day, and I'm willing to entertain anybody's offers. So,
I have no issue with that. In my, communication with Ms. Miller, I don't know if we're right there as it relates to the updated offer.
okay.
But I think if your honor is available this week at another time, there's a court appearance that we can do, whether it be via Zoom to take a plea. It sounds like the time is not the issue, it's the specific charges.
Okay, so, and I would assume all of the attorneys know what the pleas were for Mr. Nichols, Mr. Huey, and Mr. Ryan as well. I can certainly be available tomorrow. If you will recall our
Not trying
discussions
to
at the bench.
encourage.
Hi, Spencer
please
Raskoff,
do.
co-founder and chair of Picasso, coming to you from Harvard, where when I'm not working on Picasso, I teach a course on entrepreneurship.
Think about, all right, we could do the 17th. All right, why don't we set a final plea calendar for all of the defendants in this case for December 17th?
And you know they
and,
still have a
we
list
can
of
maybe
people in
know
here.
some more
It's like the
by then, and even for the people who aren't going to enter any type of a resolution at that point, we can talk a little more intelligently about what it's going to look like to move forward. But to the extent that there is going to be a trial for anybody, I mean, I'm thinking sooner rather than later. The facts and the evidence, some of the charges.
Eric Johnson from Mr.
Yes, sir.
The question that I would have, Your Honor, is.
Do me a favor and talk into the mic, because we do have people on Zoom and it's
The-
easier for them to hear.
Yes,
Thanks.
Your Honor.
You can pick it up if you want. You're kind of tall. I don't think you want to hunch
Gosh,
over like
Sure.
that.
Johnson for Mr. Eppinger. The question that I had, Your Honor, is given the timing and scheduling that we're talking about, how long would it take for the transcript of the prior trial to be prepared? Because I know that there were certain witnesses that testified in the prior trial whose testimony may be used again in additional trial.
So it would, yeah, and it's a good point. It would probably, to the extent anybody knows which witnesses, that would be helpful so that the court reporter or court reporters can focus on that testimony instead of just starting from day one and going all the way through. Because I think if we do day one all the way through, it's going to be a while. And the court reporters would probably like a holiday as well. So be thinking about, if you all are thinking I'm going to trial, be thinking about which of the witnesses' testimony you would like, and then we can have the court reporters focus on those.
And I guess my question, because it's likely Mr. Eppinger will be proceeding to trial, notwithstanding whatever happens resulting from this verdict, is the court going to take into consideration the time that the court reporter would need to prepare that in the scheduling the?
Well, I'll have to.
Okay, but I will inform her as to which specific witnesses, the testimony that I need.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any other kind of procedural matters? Does anybody have motions outstanding? You shouldn't, because you've already been to a final plea, but
Your Honor, I will likely have a plea in bar. Is that something that we can argue on the 17th?
get it filed, and I don't know if anything, I mean, I'll have to look, and I'm sure the state might have a response, but yeah, we can go ahead and take care of that, whether it's substantively or on some sort of a other basis. We'll handle that. But please get it filed like before the end of this week.
Understood.
And Your Honor, I know that Mr.
Okay, y'all, I'm trying to get to this word.
does have a previously filed immunity motion.
Even by the time of the immunity, after those transcripts are available.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So the immunity motion is, yes, Your Honor.
And frankly, whomever the prior attorney was on regular team of people, but I guess one of the prisons. So let me go ahead and admit them and see. Yes. Is that Mr. Adams? Okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry that he missed most of the status conference, but you can update him. And are you able, I think that all of the prisons have the ability to let y'all Zoom privately with attorney and client.
Thank you, Judge. We can set up a legal conference. So
Okay, and I can even leave y'all if you'd like in a breakout room after this is over with, so you can catch
that would be great.
him up. I think we can do that. My staff attorney is saying, no, we can't. Why can we not?
They have to be talking about the remaining defendants, like after this verdict is up, and I
you
don't want
just
to miss it.
gather up all the discovery and maybe.
There's a big secret being hidden from drivers, so listen up before this video gets removed. If you're being insured by any
What's that?
Just when we're finished, you would just need to join the Zoom on your phone, and you can step into that little conference room back there so that you can talk privately, and y'all will be in a breakout room, so only the two of you will be able to hear what's going on. Okay, so Mr. Adams, your attorney's going to catch you up with what you missed. We've basically just been talking about scheduling. We haven't discussed anything substantive. All right, so I think that's it, and we will see everybody back here.
Last thing, one more thing, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
no problem.
Your Honor, upon Mr. Bender's severance, we didn't receive any new discoveries. So I'm not sure if any new discoveries outstanding, and I can't speak for any other attorney on the case, but everyone here has been severed. So I don't know if everyone has everything.
All right. Why don't I ask Mr. Body, can you just gather up all the discovery and maybe in order to make sure that everybody has everything, just reserve on everybody?
Yes, sir.
All right, I appreciate that. All right, anything else? All right, thank you all for your time, and we'll reconvene on December 17th. I'll see everybody back then. Thank you. All right, so are we going to go ahead with sentencing? Is the state, I know the state had, and then Mr. Stillwell's date.
Okay, so this lab is backwards. I'm behind, and I started backwards and going forward.
To them, and really none of that should have happened.
All right.
Good morning. Our court reporter's still getting set up, so I'm just going to get myself on Zoom.
Okay, now I'm
Things
at the
like
right
that. We'll
part.
start after she's
I
ready.
was at the wrong part, honey. So
Oh,
let me make a chapter edit here.
Maurice, there's no Rule 22 for this, and this needs to not be televised because we don't have everybody dressed out. Did you already submit that? Is that live stream?
They just told me to come film it.
They told you what?
They told me to come film it, but I'll turn it off.
Who told you that? Okay, well, it's not up to them, and really, none of that should have happened. I thought that was clear with the deputies yesterday, because not everybody is dressed out. People in jail garb. All right, good morning. Sure.
Here we go. Here we go.
That you guys will not be able to go back more, once we start. All right, so y'all ready?
All right, good morning, everybody. We have a verdict. We have two verdicts. And I do not want there to be any kind of disruption or disturbance in court, regardless of what this verdict is. So can we get the jury out, please?
stellar defense team, the stellar defense team.
Call to the President County Court.
All right, thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I understand that you all have reached a verdict. Mr. Foreperson, is that correct? All right, and was it unanimous?
Yes.
All right, and this verdict has been filled in and signed and dated by you, correct? Or for each defendant? All right, and I noticed that Mr. Kendrick's verdict form is dated December 2nd. Is that because that's when you all reached the verdict with regard to him? Okay, and then Mr. Stillwell's is dated today? Correct. Okay. All right, Mr. Kendrick, you have been found not guilty on all charges. Mr. Stillwell, can you please stand? You have been found guilty on count 64, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and not guilty on every other charge. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you are officially released from further service, and I cannot express the degree of thanks that Fulton County owes you for your service. Given the length of this trial, you have paid close attention this entire time, and I appreciate your devotion, as I'm sure do the parties in this case. You are welcome to stay for the sentencing, or you can return to the jury room. I would like to speak with you in just a moment in the jury room. If you all do want to stay, you're welcome to stay. Is there any objection to the form or the legality of this verdict?
No further statement.
Any from the defense? All right. All right. Is there any reason that we can't go ahead and sentence?
John,
You may.
All right, y'all. Like, oh my gosh. To think that those guys have gone through everything that they've gone through, and I think the jury got it right. I think the jury got it right. I have to. I mean, wow. Just wow, wow, wow. And Judge is ready to go ahead and do her sentencing, and so that was going to be my thing anyway. But,
Attention retirees,
It is.
if you're willing to be at your computer from 9 a.m. to 10:45 a.m.
What would her sentence
All right.
be like?
So,
I'm muting the
are we going to go ahead with sentencing? Is the state, I know the state had filed a recidivist notice.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do y'all intend to stand on that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So the recidivist is A and C recidivist. That means that I have no discretion but to sentence to the maximum on that count. And the sentence possibility is 5 to 10. I must sentence to 10 years. However, I can probate any part of that sentence at my discretion. And so the court sentence on count 64 for Mr. Stillwell is going to be 10 years to serve 2 with credit for time served, the balance served on probation. All right, I am going to recess.
Then that we're home today, Judge. Wow, Judge. Judge Whitaker.
I'm going to recess for a moment, and
Judge Whitaker
we will
is a
reconvene
G.
on the status
Judge
conference in a
Whitaker
few
is
minutes.
a G. Judge Whitaker is a G. Judge Whitaker is a G. She just did her big one. So they only got guilty on one charge, the possession of a firearm charge, which carries a sentence of 10 years. And she said that she had to sentence
You have 30
the 10
days to
years.
file a motion for new trial if you choose to do that. Your attorneys will represent you on that unless they
Wow.
are excused from that representation by me. You also have 30 days from either this date or the date the motion for new trial is ruled upon to file a direct appeal, if that's something you would like to do. And given that this is a felony conviction, you would have 4 years from the date that those
Them boys going.
direct appeals are finished to file a habeas corpus petition challenging anything about the constitutionality of this conviction and sentence. All right.
Listen, for me, it has been for the last few days. How would the judge stand if there was a guilty verdict? Like, what would she do? And she said, "I have to sentence you to 10 years. I don't have any jurisdiction in that, but what I can do is I can determine how much you serve, and I can make provisions to that sentence." And so he's basically got 10 years probation, 2 years time served for a firearm charge. He went home just like everybody else went home. And that's a big one for her. That is, I mean, shout out to Judge Whitaker on that. Shout out to the jury for coming back on that not guilty verdict. That is so exciting. And I really, really think they got it right. And shout out to Judge Whitaker for being fair. 2 years. That means they owe him 2. Like the state owes him 2 because, you know, they do the 2 for 1 or whatever. However that plays out. Um, he's going home today. He's a married man allegedly. And yeah, all that stuff in the beginning. Listen, there are people that are still in there right now set to go to trial. This is like what, 40 something people? Y'all, I can exaggerate some numbers, at least 20 something that have been waiting. And they took a big old L. No Rico. Mm, mm, mm. What a finale. What a finale. Anyway, that was, I mean, just phenomenal. Shout out to Judge Whitaker for being the MVP. The defense team, mm, 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 mm. Chef's kiss. What a ride. It's your girl Duchess, and I'm out.